So, hey, welcome to the NOTI Lounge. I'm your host, Troy Smith. I'm here with a special guest, and that's my friend. I would say my friend. I like to call you my friend.
Thank you.
You like that too?
Yes, I do.
With Cal Turner Jr. Met him last year through an acquaintance, through another good friend.
Yes.
Rob Simbeck.
Rob Simbeck.
You know, I'm all about time and relationships. My two most important currencies. You know, time, you got to invest wisely. Relationships to get you places that money can't buy. And if I would have tried to call Avalee, the great Avalee, by getting a cold call and come and meet you, I'd probably never get through the game. But when you know people, you start building with folks, and then they connect you with the right people. And that just came off of, hey, you need to meet Cal. And Cal, you need to meet Troy. And the stories are almost in a sense similar, even though we're on different sides of the track, but they're in a sense similar. So the NOTI Lounge, you know, it means NOTI, which stands for not overthinking it. So I want to actually help entrepreneurs and individuals that want to become entrepreneurs not overthink the next step. Actually encourage them, let them know that your dreams are on hold because you're not deciding to go forward. And then what I want to do is bring hosts, not hosts, I'll be a host, but bring individuals on every week that we can actually sit down and talk with about and this entrepreneurs are successful in the business that they are in, or then also, as we were discussing, success has its own relative definition, that being something different than everyone else, and also entrepreneurship, which we're going to get to. But
well, now Troy, I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but what do you mean by overthink?
Overthinking.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what I mean by that, so what happens is when we actually have an idea in our mind, we say, man, that would be good. The next thing you know, it continue to be, that would be good. That would be good. Hey, that would be a good idea if someone else came up with it, even though it was in their mind first. Right? So like, for example, when I worked at Burger King back in the day, right? And, I used to make all these sandwiches. You're like, man, you make all these sandwiches up and all that. Next thing you know, you see that sandwich on TV. Oh, I made that up. Or think about when you were actually on the couch one day watching an infomercial, and then you thought about some special broom. And since you never actually put that idea out there because you were overthinking it or overthinking that one idea, I know where you're about to go. And then next thing you know, that someone else come up with it. You're like, God dang it, I thought of that too. So that's what I mean by overthinking the idea, because you never move, then someone else will do it.
Oh, you mean getting stuck in your head?
Yeah, get stuck in your head. Yeah. So what that's a good place to start. Exactly what do you think would be overthinking it?
Overthinking to me means paralysis by analysis. Overanalyzing.
Overanalyzing.
Staying in your head. And we found in our planning work at Dollar General that we could come up with a plan, but we should not wait too long to start implementing, because by implementing your plan, you know how to modify and change it.
Right.
And so your great thought, you might discover, can be even better when you start implementing it.
Right. It could be.
And doing something with it, and you'll learn.
Right.
We used to learn as we implemented our great ideas.
Right. Well, that's what I mean by it. So if you don't ever implement it, your idea is just an idea.
Yes.
So Cal Turner is a part of it. So he's a part of the family he is the family of the Dollar General. That, that special, which we're going to get to, the fact that why it's yellow and black signs. There's a reason behind that. But I grew up with the Dollar Generals in my neighborhood. I grew up in the inner city of Knoxville, Tennessee. So I'm very familiar with Dollar General. So I've gone there plenty of times.
Good,
I've got plenty of clothes and shoes from Dollar General. So to see one of the pioneers actually in it, besides your granddad's actually the one that started it.
And my father.
And your father, exactly, jointly. I remember that.
Father, son.
We're going to get if you don't have, so his book is called My Father's Business.
Yes.
But everything starts through Scottsville. The roads to heaven goes through Scottsville, right?
The center of the universe. Scottsville. Kentucky.
There you go. So many
people know that.
So tell us about Cal Jr., because if you call you Mr. Turner, it's a saying that you would say.
Well, don't like to talk about myself, but
and then honestly, people, that is actually true. That's not a lot of people may say that, but by me knowing him, he's not one to actually flaunt about who and what he is, who he is. He actually would just show you by an example, and he loves helping other people. But go ahead.
Well, thank you for that. But I was born into the retail business because my father and grandfather started that company 3 months before I was born.
Right.
And my father was the original Cal Turner, the real Cal.
The real
Turner.
Cal Turner.
He gave me his name.
Uh-huh.
And that there's something about passing your name on to your son
Uh-huh.
that brands him.
Right.
And I accepted the brand, and we'd pray for snow when Daddy was overstocked on overshoes.
Right. Right.
And if he didn't sell those overshoes, he couldn't pay off the bank.
Right. Tell about the fact that you had a left shoe and a right shoe and all that whole.
Oh yeah. When my dad opened the first Dollar General store, everything had to be priced at $1.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to sell a pair of shoes, he priced them at $1 a shoe because he couldn't sell them
For $2.
for any cheap.
Right.
$2. He had to at least have a $2 price
Right.
to sell a good pair of shoes.
Right.
So he just priced them $1 a shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tell
and
about
he found out a lot of his customers had one foot in a cast and they only wanted to buy the other shoe.
That's exactly what
or
happened.
they had 2 feet of a different size,
Mhm.
and they'd break up 2 pairs of shoes and buy just one, and he was stuck with,
Look at that.
with a lot of mismatched shoes.
And you know what? One day we do know your dad loved to buy a lot of stuff. From the book,
yes.
he'll buy, he probably had a warehouse full of just
Oh yeah.
overstock. He
yeah.
probably could have started overstock, actually.
That's in fact his overstocked inventory is why we had to open so many more stores.
Exactly, that's right. And so tell us about the fact that, like you mentioned, you talking about tell about your granddad, because it starts with a story with that, by him with education.
Oh, Troy, my grandfather, at the age of 11, with only a 3rd grade education, lost his father in a freak Saturday afternoon wrestling match. His father was a very young guy, just wrestling.
I mean, like off the top rope wrestling, or
Broke
was it
his
just
back, or I don't know what happened.
Man.
But Johnny Turner was killed, and his oldest son,
Right.
who was 11,
At
and
11?
had 3 younger siblings,
Mm-hmm.
was the head of the family.
Wow.
The head of the family.
At 11 years old.
At 11 years old, with a 3rd grade education on a heavily mortgaged farm. He had to take over the farm.
Right.
He couldn't go to school anymore.
At 11. We don't forget that, at 11 years old.
At 11.
He's having a life crisis at 11 years old.
Yes. And what he did was amazing, but he had a sense of urgency. He had to be responsible for the family's success. He had to pay off the mortgage on the farm. He had to raise his younger sister and 2 younger brothers. He was responsible for the financial welfare of the whole family. He was responsible to help rear his younger sister and 2 brothers. And he was 11, and he had a 3rd grade education.
Right.
That is amazing to me.
So he had an entrepreneur idea, thought process. He seen an issue. He had to come up with a solution.
Yes.
At 11 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my dad was once asked how his mission was different from mine. My mission was serving others, God-honoring change. Mr. Turner, he was once asked, what was your mission? And he said, survival.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of your family was afraid for your dad's health because he was so much in survival mode.
Oh, yeah.
Fight or flight all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he, when I was growing up, people would say, oh, Cal Jr., we're worried that your father's going to die of a heart attack. And
he did not. I mean, he grew old.
Yes, he did. He lived to be 85. But that's something to lay on a kid whose grandfather had to head the family in the business of farming when he was 11. And before I was even 11, people were saying to me, we're worried that your father's going to die of a heart attack.
Look at that. And then that means you have to get ready to pay off all the mortgages and everything else.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So tell me. So when you grew up, automatically people thought you were going to the family business. Because you were helping your dad working there all the time. And I remember in your book, a friend of yours, African-American persuasion, that a good friend of yours that was driving the truck and all that. I said, well, if you ever do a movie, I want to become that guy. I want to be that guy in the movie. Because, y'all had a good love for people in general. It didn't matter in regards to relation of race and things to me, from what I read in your book. And then by me knowing you, so tell us a little bit about Scottsville, about growing up in Scottsville, because everyone knew each other's business.
Oh,
everybody knew each other. Yeah.
Everybody
knew about what's going on.
Everybody else. My dad used to say that he thought that was a great place to grow up because you had to behave.
You had to behave. And if you were struggling, everybody knew about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Scottsville, I was reared by a loving mother and father, but I was reared also by a loving community.
Mm-hmm.
So
they kept you accountable.
I bet they did.
Yeah,
they did.
And y'all brought a lot of jobs and everything to that community.
Yes,
yeah,
we did indeed. And my dad was always about growth,
right?
About growing,
right?
And Luther Turner was more conservative because he had been through 2 depressions,
mm-hmm.
and he had seen what happens when you lose everything.
That builds experience, right?
It builds experience.
So you learn what you can live without and what you need. You start learning you don't actually buy a lot of stuff if you don't need it. In entrepreneurship, what happens is you think you need to do a lot of different things, and as you can see, when y'all see this on video, I mean, it's cords all over the place. I'm learning about what I've learned by being an entrepreneur myself is about being resourceful. Using what you have compared to thinking about you need to go do a lot of different things or have this type of bukus of money. Because let's go ahead and get to what you think success would mean in entrepreneurship. What you think entrepreneurship mean?
Well, let me tell you what my grandfather said about success.
Uh-huh.
He said, man is not as smart as a mule.
Mm-hmm.
Because once a mule knows its stall in the barn, it'll always return to its stall.
Mm.
But a man, he used the masculine to say his message, thinks if he is good at doing this, then he ought to try something else.
Uh-huh.
He gets bored staying in his own stall.
Right.
He's not as smart as the mule.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've done this, now I'm kind of bored with that. I'm going to try something else.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe you need to stick with what you're good at.
Uh-huh.
If you can get better at what you're good at.
You better start preaching now and come out and ask. That's the main thing about finding out what your purpose is. That's what everyone's purpose. They want to find out what their gifts are.
Yes.
And then the next saying would be, now if you find out what your gift is, you need to go give it away. So you need to go out there and give it and show people, as you know, in the business of service, retail, you're all about service.
And God gave you a unique gift when you were born.
Yeah.
You're not like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And your opportunity is different from anybody else's opportunity.
Right.
And the more you can get excited about who you are as a unique, one-of-a-kind human being, the more you can do about that and grow. Actually, I think grow with God. I think your Creator can be a great partner in your development.
He's the manufacturer.
Yes, sir.
If he's the manufacturer, he can probably tell you this is what you're created to do. But at one time, you were running from that. Because then you try to find out exactly what you are.
What I was running from was what others were saying I should do.
Right.
And because the wonderful ladies of the church would say, we're praying that you're going to become a preacher.
Right.
And they'd be crying when they said it. You know what I'd do when I heard them say it?
What's that?
I'd cry too.
You cried too, huh? Because so you found out. But you just mentioned your saying about service. You put here to serve, right?
Yes.
And you got a full saying about it. Say it one more time. The saying, your mission while you're here.
Serving others.
Right.
Life, the fullest life, is not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about others. And how I can serve others. And if I can help others to grow and develop, I'll grow and develop more myself because of my influence and impact on them will bounce right back on me.
Help as many people get to where they want to be, and then you in turn be taken care of.
Yes.
But we hear that all the time about, hey, it's not about you. And I think sometimes it can be, the term, probably lack of a better term, but perverted in the sense of it's not all about you. And then people take that to a whole nother level of not understanding truly that you're here to serve people. You know, everything that you do in life is going to be a point of service, and then you actually may be getting paid more than others or get paid for servicing other people. But in the grand scheme of things, we're serving people.
Yes.
I mean, you go to Chick-fil-A or go wherever you may go, you say, the reason why people like going to places, they say, well, they make you feel special.
Troy, I enjoy helping someone in an elevator in a 7-second ride.
Right.
Feel better.
That's what it's all about.
Now, and I feel a whole lot better if I can help the other person feel better.
Right. And they didn't come up with no money.
No.
You didn't have to give no one no money. You had to give them anything to make them feel better. That was actually free.
That was free will.
And you inspire people to be better.
Just think about that.
That's what I believe. Go ahead, think about it. Tell us about it some more. Tell us about it.
Well, everybody is hungry for the same thing. That's to be part of a bigger picture that is positive. And the world will have you to think that the negative is what should be focused on.
That's what sells.
Yeah.
The negative sells. I mean, people scroll right through Facebook, social media, or whatever because there's nothing that's really
look at the
catchy.
political agenda.
Right.
Look at and I'm not talking about whether you're a Republican or Democrat or whatever.
Right.
That doesn't matter. There is so much negative today, and there is real joy to be had in life if you get excited about who you are and what that means you can do serving others and helping others. Because in our society, the more you help others, the better off you are financially and I think spiritually.
Right. So like when you went to go, like you mentioned in your story about how, hey, I was trying to run from what people were trying to have me do. Like even if you were, like you said, your whole thing is about service and serving others. Even if you wouldn't have went into ministry, you would have been serving other people. You went to college, you came back, and you still was helping your dad throughout the summer. And then what made you actually get to the point where you're going to serve others through retail and actually decide this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I got there on a winding road. I didn't want to go into the family business. I didn't want to do that because my dad was so good at it, it was kind of threatening to me. I had his name with Junior tacked onto it. He was the real Calvin.
And it's an expectation when you got Junior on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the expectation laid upon me and his hope that I would go into the business that he was good at. And I found when I was clerking in our store as a teenager that I wasn't good at retailing.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that first sale you made. Tell me about the first sale you made.
You're talking about that. I was the worst clerk, and I couldn't find anything in the store, and I was trying to relate to some of these ugly, smelly, dirty farm people.
Yeah, the guy with the overalls on.
Yeah, and I got the worst customer. I got this old farmer. Who wanted to buy a pair of panties for the old lady.
Panties.
At
least he was secure and know who he was.
Yeah. Well, we went through a whole problem there because he didn't know her size. But and I said, well, I gotta know her size.
Right.
And I said, how big is she? And he pointed to my Aunt Ethel, who was the best clerk in the store and had a whole lot of merchandise she was about to ring up. And he said he's about her size.
Uh-huh.
And a store full of people, but I yelled across the store and I said, Ethel, what size panties do you wear?
Oh, man, in front of everybody.
Well, Ethel threw her merchandise all over the place and ran to the stockroom in embarrassment. And I made her sale. The biggest sale I ever made was Ethel's. And then I came back and we struggled to make that 39-cent sale. 39-cent pair of panties.
What's your best sale? Was 39 cents? That was the biggest sale.
No, Ethel's sale.
Oh, Ethel's sale. Oh, because she threw all her stuff. And so you got to ring it up.
We finally completed that sale, but God did a number on me. He said, "Take that man in, Cal.
Look at
His
that.
life is different from yours.
Yeah.
There's another world out there. There are a lot of struggling people out there.
Right.
But can't you see how smart he really is? Survival is his agenda, and he has to be smart about everything he does, including spending 39 cents on a pair of panties.
Look at that.
For the lady. And I thought, wow, that's... Everybody's not like me.
There you go.
And there are people
there
who
you
need.
go.
There are people who need what we do in this business.
Right.
But I still didn't want to do the business.
You still want to do business. Yeah, that was just your first sale. But you've realized, looking outside your scope, there's people that are not going through the same thing. And oftentimes we can get tunnel vision and think there's no one else going through things.
Yeah.
Or you just got it's something special about you, you know. But you start realizing that, there's other people that's going through stuff. So you created an actual lane. Your family created a lane of taking care of those folks, take care of people in that area.
It was life's greatest opportunity for me.
Right.
Life's greatest challenge. But because of my conversion experience that I had at the age of 11, which changed my life,
your granddad had something at 11?
Both of us at 11.
Look at this.
Both of us at 11.
What was your conversion at 11 years old?
What happened to me was the words and the tune of the old rugged cross one summer Sunday evening. The overpowering conviction that Jesus Christ had gone to Calvary with Cal Turner Jr. in mind.
Oh, you look at that.
Now that thought wasn't mine, but it came to me in an overpowering way, and I thought, wow, that is amazing that the man who was also God had me in mind at Calvary, and I knew I was different.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to be different, but I knew it was different after that. And so then I thought, oh no, do I have to become a preacher?
Automatically.
And then we got a new preacher. Back then, the Methodist Church swapped preachers out every 4 years. We got a new one. He said,
it's like an election.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a preacher retread.
Look at that. There it is.
And when he came, he said, Cal Jr., I understand you're considering the ministry. Yes, Brother Woodson, I am. Well, here's my advice. Don't do it. Well, here's a preacher telling me not to become a preacher.
And the little old ladies are telling you, crying with the one tear in their eye, saying...
He said, don't do it, because only if there's nothing else you can do are you called to be a minister of the gospel. Don't do it unless there's nothing else you can do. I thought, oh, I feel liberated.
Yeah, look at
Don't
that.
have to be a preacher. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what is life's greatest challenge? It's that family business where I can't be my own person.
Yeah.
I'm Junior, Cal Jr.
Right.
And I can't show the world who I am. I think sometimes you have to get over trying to show the world who you are and try to discover who God had you in mind to become. Because you are the unique creation of God Almighty.
Look at that. So look, so his sermon this is his first sermon right now today. He said he wasn't going to the ministry, but he's in it right now. He's making people feel it. Hey, Braxton, you feel like you want to go into ministry now? Good look at that. Listen, Braxton is the camera guy. Braxton has his own camera company. He's doing this thing, so I appreciate him.
Well, he looked up as if he's sitting on the morning.
Yeah, he got a little. But I tell you, so look, so this show is for entrepreneurs in general. So we're going to go ahead and end it off with.
Okay,
I want to get to three things. Number one would be this. What would you say to that person that's talking about going into business, but they say we bring our family into business? What's your thoughts about you being in the family business that's grown to billions of dollars and do what it does, helped you out personally yourself? What's your thoughts on doing a family business or going to business with family and friends?
Well, every situation is unique, and there has to be a business that's run like a business. And if it is a family business, there can be mixed agendas.
Mm-hmm.
There can be the family agenda, and there can be the business agenda.
Which would be hard to distinguish at times.
And sometimes it gets hard to distinguish it. It can be a wonderful thing.
Because there's some hard decisions that you had to make.
But the wonderful thing of that family business turned out to be pure hell for me in the future when I had to make life's most painful decision. And the dispute between two brothers when a company was about to go down the tubes meant that the older brother had to lead. And my younger brother had to leave the company. And that's hard. It is hard to fire anybody from a business when it's your brother. It
played a role in the book.
We're
going to have people read your books. If they want to really know what it really felt like, they need to read your book. Because when you mentioned also about your dad, I mean, your dad that was his dream, his baby. And then when they had to actually make some decisions, like, hey, senior, you know.
Yes.
What was that like? I mean, that's another hard decision that had to be done.
Oh, it was indeed. There had to be a lot of change in that family business. The success of the business and the growth of the business meant that there had to be a lot of change, and that change impacted the family.
Absolutely. There's a couple of Christmases and Thanksgivings that was bothered.
A lot of.
And your mama was bothered. Your mama, the sweet lady, used to sing with that beautiful voice on the piano.
Yes. My mama taught me about leadership principles. My mama said to me as a teenager, son, for a good boy, you get into a lot of trouble. Look what she just did.
Yeah.
She separated the person from the problem. And I took that into the business, saying when something goes wrong, let's not say who did it. Let's say what happened and who needs help.
Look at that. Finding a solution.
How can we
learn? You go. Wow.
Because I have learned the most from times of loss or pain or failure. I have learned more in those times than I have in the happy, successful times.
Yeah.
And I hope that all of your listeners can be encouraged that when they're going through bad times, they're going through a development challenge. Really. You can develop more going through those times.
The hardship
has been my experience.
Yeah.
The hardships
That's
of
when you
life
really learn.
Build you.
I bet you learned a lot through the fact about the union. So the union stuff was real big back in the day.
Oh boy.
I mean, your family. You know, people think that's the next thing. So one thing you mentioned about it's unique. When you go into family with a business, business with family and friends, it's a unique situation. Each situation is unique. So you need to know what your plans are and how to separate the two.
Yes.
Separate business from family. They'll let you know that, hey, this is business, nothing personal.
You do have to understand that distinction. You have to understand yourself first. who are you and what are you trying to become? And how can that be accomplished here? And how can, in business, how can you help others to succeed? The more you can help others to succeed in business,
Mm-hmm.
the more your business will grow.
That's the whole thing about it's not about you.
People.
It's about people.
And guess what? That's not about you because people includes more than you, doesn't it?
So the next question would be this. When it comes down to people think it's easy because you're Cal Turner Jr. Or people think that you're a part of a family business that's growing out the roof. You know, as you learned, people can love you and then they can hate you. Scottsville loved you and then Scottsville hated you. And that's for anything. So what would you talk about in regards to, do you think it's easy until, like you said, you learn a lot through your hardships. But what would you say to the individuals that's trying to go into business or they're in business themselves, having issues with trying to please folks because they think that you're so-and-so, it should be easy for you?
Well, you can't please everybody.
Uh-huh.
Pick who it is important to be pleased. Who should be pleased. And if you can somehow bring that back to the agenda of your creator,
Mm-hmm.
then you can go for the greater good in business. I think the best of business is real world ministry.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to bring people together. You've got to help them develop. You've got to help each other to accept challenge and to grow together through that challenge. And there's real opportunity. There needs to be more business out there that ministers to customers and to employees.
Now, minister in what way? Like ministry like the Bible says, or ministry in regards to showing goodwill, or what?
Well, our ministry to our customers,
Mm-hmm.
we describe as giving them a better life.
Okay.
Giving them quality, basic merchandise so that life was a little easier for them because they didn't have to spend too much money on toilet paper.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just the basics.
Uh-huh.
Just the basics.
So what do you say to that person that tell you, hey, Cal, you should have no down days in entrepreneur in business. You're Cal Turner Jr. You're worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
What kind of hardships could you go through?
Well, I think everybody has a cross to bear,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones who are most blessed are the ones who pick it up and carry it.
Mm-hmm.
Life's not about happiness. It is about the joy of serving others.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to try to keep your head screwed on right when the devil is screwing in the opposite direction.
Right. And that could be, and all the time it be yourself.
Yeah.
It could be yourself at times.
That's what
Right.
bothers me.
Mhm.
I call myself a practicing backsliding Methodist.
Yeah, right.
The devil and God are both inside me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There is a warfare going on
Uh-huh.
on earth. And I need to be sure I'm on the right side.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. All the time.
And there are times when I have to say, whoops, Cal, you're off here. You better get back on track. But yes, and with success, there comes even greater challenge,
Right.
Troy.
Yeah.
It's if you're going to be successful, it's not going to be a straight line of progress.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have ups and downs,
Mm-hmm.
failures, along with successes.
Right.
And the more you learn from the failures, the more you will enhance the success.
Look at that. So look, my last thing would be, has money changed you, Cal? Do you feel that money has changed you? Because I'm going to tell you this. When someone when you say Cal Turner Jr., you Google him, and you see the $sign next to him, right? But when you meet Cal and you talk to him, you don't light up saying, I'm worth $1 billion. You know who I am? And look at your face now. Your face is not a person that's just like, who look at me who I am. It's just a different attitude. And that's probably why you keep getting more. Because you always giving. You got that from your granddad, your dad, when he wrote the checks to all the churches before he passed, right?
Oh, yeah.
He gave away all them checks, say, hey, let's just write. He looked in the paper or whatever, just write checks to churches, just giving it away. What did your dad say about giving? What did he say that real quick?
My dad said, son, isn't it fun to give it away?
Look at that.
Isn't it fun to give it away?
Now, when you're coming from the other side of the tracks, you think, I'm not giving nothing away. I don't have it. And then that's why you probably don't have nothing, because you don't give it away, right? In a sense. I mean, that's universal law.
The best gift anybody has is self.
Mm-hmm.
If you give yourself away,
mm-hmm.
you'll be a bigger person.
Look at that.
You'll receive a lot more than you give away when you're giving yourself.
Uh-huh.
When you're thinking about others more than yourself.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't know if you can do that, Troy. I don't know if you can think about others more than you think about
yourself. You probably
yourself,
can't, but that's a choice. That's a decision.
You can try.
Right.
You can try. And I am moved by what happened in the scripture when the Roman centurion asked our Lord to save his daughter. And he said, just say the word.
Just say the word.
Just say the word and he'll.
You don't even have to even come. Don't even worry about it.
They don't have to come to my house.
Right.
He said, I too
mm-hmm.
am a man under authority.
Right.
Under authority. If you're wealthy, you're under the wealth.
Uh-huh.
It is a load.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you'd rather carry that load than some other load.
Right, of course.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But
it's definitely a load.
Life is about carrying your load with grace.
Yeah.
And my dad used to say, well, people will forgive you for anything before being successful. If you're successful, you're a threat.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to forgive you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that helped me to realize that if I became wealthy, people would take me in differently. It does make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And someone once said, well, people only relate to you because you're wealthy. And I said, well, same thing for me. What do you mean? Well, I can't relate to myself as a poor man. I'm a wealthy man. Yeah. I have to accept what is.
Right.
And I have to get the help of my Lord to carry it out well. If I'm rich, if I'm poor, if I'm successful or a failure, sometimes when we're going through failure, we get bogged down, Troy, when that is God's opportunity to lift us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the opportunity of other people to lift us. And I hope whoever hears this will be encouraged that failure can be the prerequisite to success.
Mm-hmm.
It's the start of
That's
success if you handle it the right way.
So what's your last thing you want to leave someone with? Is they either want to get into entrepreneurship or they're already there. What type of words of encouragement? You already encouraged a lot already, but what would you say if someone came to you, Cal, I don't know if I want to get in this or I want to take my business to the next level and be a billionaire as well. But what would your encouragement be to someone that's want to get into business for themselves?
Well, be sure to pursue the level where you are well, and the next level will come.
Mm-hmm.
But pay attention to the life you're living now and your opportunity to learn from life right now and to get the help of others.
Mm-hmm.
Success is largely about how you connect with others because everybody wants to be a part of success. Reach out and engage somebody else in the quest for success.
Right.
Help somebody else to be successful.
Right.
And you may find greater success than you ever dreamed.
Relationships.
When you're helping somebody else to be successful.
Well, Cal, I appreciate you taking the time. You were setting a great example for wealthy folks. I tell you that much. You know, you set a great example of someone to just carry themselves to say, you know what, I may have this and have that, but what can I do to be of service to you? So, and that's why you continue being who you are. You know, that's why you continue being successful. I believe successful in what you're doing.
Well, I think the best wealthy folks of the future may be positioned in poverty today. Then they will understand wealth and appreciate it.
There you go.
And they'll be a good steward of it when it comes.
Right. Look at that. Look at it. Well, look, I came here in the office today, and one of the things that him and his awesome assistant, Avali, was doing today was talking about giving away money. And that's a beautiful thing, man. So thank you, Cal. Tell folks, I mean, look, my father's business is still, it's been, you did a tour on it, the book. You want to tell them to go get the book, they can get it from at Dollar General. They can get it anywhere they want,
yes.
But I mean.
Yes, Barnes, anywhere. Bookstore, yes.
Right, any bookstore.
And you can go online and just pull it up.
There you go. I got a good manuscript copy, and I actually got the actual copy. So I appreciate you, Cal. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the NOTI Lounge with us today. Not overthinking it, helping the entrepreneur become better and not overthink their next move. So,
Troy, being here was a joy to me.
Hey, being in your office was a joy to me too. I appreciate you. Yeah, hey, I thank y'all for listening. Remember, the true outcome of having a mindset of successful thinking is having an unwavering expectation of successfully achieving a predetermined goal, knowing that the outcome was supposed to happen. I'll see you next time at the NOTI Lounge.